All right, I'm going live. Hello, hello. Good evening, folks. All right, I'm going to kick us off with some intro music here in just one moment. All right, good evening and welcome to Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms. This is Raph speaking to you live high above the keep in the hot air balloon. Neindorf, how you doing tonight?
Very well. How about yourself?
You know what? I'm hanging in there. We had another bout of some weird spring illnesses go through our house last week, but here we are. We're recovered. It's a new week. Knock on wood, and ready to go at it. So I'm really enjoying the side quests as well. So that's good. How are you and your Gen ones doing?
Pretty good. I couldn't believe summer. You mentioned the spring weather, and summer's approaching pretty quick, even though the temperatures don't reflect it. Yeah, I think they said they had like 4 weeks of school left, which is absolutely crazy.
That is wild. So tonight is April 25th, and we're sitting at Jewel price. It's looking a little scurry right now, down at 3.2. Um, any commentary you have on the current price of Jewel?
Um, Nothing too exciting, I guess. I mean, I've kind of mentioned this before, maybe even on some of the Discord chats. If I like to, not necessarily directly compare it, but if you throw all the crypto charts up right now, they all look largely the same. So I'm not really too scared, I suppose, about this downturn here. I would say that smaller projects like DeFi Kingdoms usually do get hit harder. Anything that's seen as more volatile gets sold off first. But yeah, I mean, even like total markets were down the last couple days, several percent. So I think it's going to be one of those healthy crypto corrections. I think as long as you're a long-term holder, I think this will just be another one of those blips.
Yeah, I think when I peeked at the markets this morning, I think I saw Harmony down about 10%, and Jewel was down about 10% from where it was 24 hours ago as well. I would say I'm kind of tracking your sentiment on this, and that this is something that I expected that we would see. DeFi Kingdoms and Jewel track the rest of the crypto market. And I think it's going to kind of follow the economy this year. I think we're in for a bit of a bumpy one. Um, but I think it's just like the devs team, in their AMA, they talked about, our strategy is build despite what's going on with the crypto market. And I think it's time for us to strap in and assume a similar stoic style mindset, and accumulate start to accumulate tokens in the most cost effective way possible. So that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to call it and this is obviously not financial advice, but kind of in the same vein of building future wealth. And so that's where I'm really going into this year with that mindset, knowing I'm not going to come away with much. Trying to hunker down and build a smart, diversified base that's going to help set things up for the future. So that's kind of where my mindset is at the moment.
Yeah, I think that actually I love that approach. Um, and it's kind of one of those things, when the prices are depressed like this, there's always the concept, dollar cost average in, right? And I think if I'm not mistaken, the crystal snapshot is about to expire. I think it's today, from what I heard. So
That's
I
right.
kind of expect that's putting some sell pressure on Jewel also. Um, so then the question is will the dev teams have additional news or snapshots to help, pump the coins from that decrease? Again, not financial advice, but I think they will, and I think maybe that in the near future here we'll see that announcement, hopefully where they'll start releasing some of those AVAX rewards
Mm-hmm.
in the Crystal AVAX pool. I kind of bought in on that a little bit, just hoping they drop that sooner, but I'm still holding tight. Hopefully that'll pan out, but we'll see how it goes.
We'll see. We'll see. All right. So first thing I wanted to go through is a little bit of our subscription goals that we're shooting for here on over on YouTube. So first thing we're gonna add in a new giveaway. We're gonna do an attunement crystal giveaway right now. We are sitting at just before the podcast here today, 232 subscribers on YouTube. And we have, I believe it's around, I don't know, how many users do we have in Discord? We have way more than that in Discord.
Yeah, I
Um,
think it's like 320.
yeah, so help us. And what we're going for is every 5 new subscribers that we get on YouTube, we are going to do a Discord giveaway. And we're going to do it for each stats attunement crystal. So the swiftness crystal, the lesser attunement crystal of might, so on and so forth. So we're gonna do one for each of the 8. Every 5 that we do, I think we're gonna time each of the giveaways to be somewhere between 30 and 60 minutes, and it's gonna be for our Discord team members out there. But it's going to be based. We're gonna start each new giveaway based on our subscriber count. So hopefully we can get 40 quick subscribers that way. And again, we're working towards our overall goal of hitting the 500 and then the 1,000 mark. And then, maybe our YouTubers need to help keep us honest out here. I couldn't remember what we said on the last couple podcasts, so we're switching things up a little bit and hopefully making the rewards a bit more juicy. So I'm thinking now that we give away the first egg at 350 subscribers, and then the second egg at 500 subscribers. And then if our listeners out there recall, I'm sitting on a pure wizard hero. Well, I've now purchased a pure priest hero, and I'm thinking it would actually be a little more fun to give away the first 5 offspring of the spawn of these 2 heroes, and then to give away the pair at the end. And so we'll give away the first of their summons, so when they each have 10 out of 10, and we'll go down for the first 5 summons, and then I'll just give away both of them at the end to our subscribers out there. They're both a part of my squad right now. I think the wizard's up to level, I want to say 2 or 3. Priest is still hanging out there at level 1. So that's what we got going on at the moment of what we're working on, and what we're hoping to achieve for our subscriber goals. So if you could do us a favor, please hit that subscribe button and like the videos as well. That would be greatly appreciated. All right, Neindorf, what's your question of the day?
So with the release of these training quests, my question is what do we think the value of these eternal scrolls are? I mean, obviously they're somewhat rare. We've seen some chatter. People are getting them, a couple of them, maybe even you can get duplicates. So what do you think? What's a scroll page worth?
I don't know. I have not checked the secondary market. I thought of that as maybe a giveaway of giving away some of the scrolls, but that's not something I've looked into. I think now I don't rake in the quest rewards as fast as you do, but I think I'm sitting on, I want to say, well, I guess I should just go pull it up. So let me go jump into game, and I'm sitting on. Gosh, gets a lot more boring when I'm bumbling around. 1, 2. I have 2, 3, 5, 7, 9. So I'm going for all the odds, I guess. I just need almost all the odds here. So yeah, I'm sitting on a good number of them. Yeah, 5 of them in total. How many do you have?
I'm sitting on 5 as well, except for I got a duplicate. I got a couple. I got 1, 2, 4, and a couple of 6s. So that's kind of where I was like, what do I do with the duplicate page? And that's kind of where the crux of this question came from.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, maybe worth. I don't think like anything in DeFi Kingdoms. It feels like the value is a bit inflated right off the bat. Um, while the supply is scarce, and then I bet it comes down over time. Um, and I don't know, 10, 15 joules. What do you think?
I'm just, yeah, it's hard to say, right? I I heard some chatter thrown around where people were like, "Hey, I'll trade you an egg for a scroll," and I was like, "Whoa!" I was like, "Is that?"
Wow.
I got thinking, I was like, "That seems
Full
high,"
scroll?
but then what's that? No, just like one of the pages.
Oh man, I do that.
But 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 then I was thinking about it. I was like, that actually might not be that unreasonable because if you think about, I mean, this is a short-term event, and
That's true.
there's some speculation that here that if you don't have all of the pieces, you might miss out on some really cool rewards or achievements or something like that. So I think this is kind of that first game
Mm.
aspect kind of coming through here. And so I think people are kind of maybe trading a little high on that. So yeah, I think you're probably right. I think an egg is maybe a little high. Um, maybe yeah. I think you're right. Probably that 10 jewel mark might be about right. Uh, I
Because
say that because
there's
I was
nine
looking it
total.
through. Yes, nine, and then a tenth one that should come out later, supposedly.
Yeah, so
Um,
90 joule for a set. That probably seems right with the current price of joule right now. Um, what's the timeline on the event? You'll have to remind me of that.
I don't know if they've actually released that yet, to be honest with you. Maybe our listeners out there could chime in if they've heard any more. But I don't believe I've heard a date. I think it's just kind of one of those things that it's on their map, and I'm sure they're working hard towards it. But it's probably one that they couldn't commit to, far as I know.
Yeah, we had a crypto nerd just said we should swap pages, and he's missing a few pages, and he said maybe the 10th page will be a land title. And I said, well,
Ooh,
that would be that'd be a little juicy. So,
oh, that'd
um,
be awesome.
yeah, I think it, or, maybe it would be like a ticket into a land tournament. That's certainly that could be it. I mean, that might be a little much. I think they'll probably tone this back a bit. I would say you probably get to select one hero to go on a special quest. And I would think that the rewards are going to end up being a fairly strong um, for that one. But I think they're going to limit it in that way where, you can only send one hero instead of your entire party of heroes.
Have you noticed that if you've gotten more of these since they dropped the rewards, or less, I should say?
I have.
Yeah, I had all the scrolls that I've gotten like right away in the first couple days, and I haven't gotten a single one since. So
Oh no no
it's
no! It's been the opposite for me. I got one
oh
scroll.
really?
Yeah, I got one scroll early on, and then all the rest of them have become come recently. So
Oh wow, so pure RNG, there it is.
yeah, yeah, it's been. I don't have too much stamina. I'm not sitting on very much stamina right now. I was gonna see if I could go do a couple quests. Yeah, it's been a bit of a wild ride for me. I got one guy up to level 8. I'm kind of lagging behind. I would say I'm not quite questing as much as I should have been last week. Being sick, I just
Oh
kind
yeah.
of jumped out of the game for a hot minute. All right, well, let's say we go on to the next topic. So what do we have next on the agenda? Um, Dev Dive, you're going to be posting a poll here coming out on Discord for some of the new site features. Walk us through what you're contemplating.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of it's I like to do that periodically, get some involvement from our members and see what they want, help drive us in the right direction. Um, so a couple ideas I've been tossing around. It's kind of a pain to go get prices for all of these various tokens. I mean, I know there's sites that you can get it for. Like I've been the Deck Screener is one that's great. It has most of the DeFi Kingdoms tokens. But I think I might, yeah, I've been contemplating putting together a page that would kind of show all of that in one, and then maybe even show you, here's the resulting price of, say, a stamina potion, and then here's the price of the constituent pieces, and you can, use that as a quick guide of, should I go buy one or build one, basically. And then we can grow that over time too as more, you know, maybe it's as crafting becomes, and now I need, so much of this item to craft into that item as well. So I think that recipe concept could maybe be carried forward, and that'd be maybe something that we could start building into the site. So that's a good one. I considered doing some more with like, uh, I know you've talked about, maybe we'll get into this a little bit later, but we should revisit the Power BI charts as well,
Yeah,
and some
sure.
of the sale pages that we've done. And I was curious how far we can take some of that. Should we even make a? I know we've talked in the past about making somewhat of an intelligent floor price tool.
Hmm.
Um, there's a lot of ideas here, so I think that's kind of where we're going to just open up the floor and get um, our community involved. And I will scrape through the Discord again and make sure I haven't missed people's suggestions that they've given us already.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the suggestions out there, and like you said, we're looking for our users out there to guide us. I mean, I think that's kind of how we've naturally done our development over time, anyways. Is we kind of try to solve our own problems out there. So I'm looking forward to getting some of that feedback. Um, all right, so I know something that you messaged me about the other day that we wanted to talk about in Dev Dive. There's and this is one of those like it's on the black market again, so be careful out there. But you saw or came across a notification for a trading or a hero buying contract. Kind of walk us through what you were looking at, and what do you think this? There's actually been a few different things out there. There's also there's another hero buying bot for good out there as well. Maybe we could talk about the two. Do you want to first lay kind of the backdrop of what's out there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, you know, we're talking about hero purchasing bots, right? So right away, everybody's going to think of like the Gen Zero sniper, and it goes by what, Ariana Sunday, I believe, or something like that. Uh,
That's the one for good. It's
yep.
Nicki Minaj is the bad one, I think.
Well, so they're one and the same,
Oh,
actually. Uh, it's funny because one of those two profiles does the purchasing, and then the other one does the selling back in the tavern.
uh-huh.
So it's sort of an odd, it must buy it and transfer it mechanism. Uh, but basically, so to get this started, what I someone had brought to my attention, there was a Twitter account created called, I think it was Ariana Sunday DFK, and had one post, and it was basically a write up, and maybe we can put a link to it. But it was basically a write up saying that, hey, we are we've released a new feature recently where we will put um, heroes that are significantly below cost, the quote unquote floor price, back on sale to the previous owner for 10 minutes at a 100% markup, uh, in order to kind of help people buy their hero back if they accidentally sold it. And
Okay.
so so if you think about that, you're like, wow, 100%. But in these Gen Zero cases, when people had listed their Gen Zero for like 50 or 60 jewel, if it cost you 50 or 60 jewel to get that hero back, you are not at all sad about it, considering it's
Have
worth
we heard from anyone
thousands.
who's actually this sounds like a giant rug to me. So I don't
Yeah.
I certainly don't recommend any users to go try this out. Thankfully, we don't have any Gen Zeros to screw around with this anymore. Have we heard from anyone on our Discord? Or is this real?
Yes, it is. So I had someone else messaging me on Discord asking me questions about, what's up with these trades here, and they showed me a screenshot of the sale data on a hero in the tavern,
Uh huh.
and it was like someone sold a hero and then bought it right back for, guess what? Exactly 100% more than they sold it for.
Wow.
So it's alive and well, and it's definitely doing its thing. You know, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe the owner of that bot kind of, maybe we demonized them a little bit, right? In the
Mm-hmm.
sense that we were saying how terrible it was that they're basically making, tens of thousands of dollars on people's accidents. So, I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe this is kind of that case of, hey, let's make this right. We're not trying to crush people. Um, and I'd also gotten word that possibly those accounts had donated uh, like 1,000 or more Jewel in some of these donation events, like the UNICEF one. So
Oh,
maybe these people aren't as bad as we've made them out to be, and I think maybe we're starting to see, the community kind of repairing itself here, I guess I would say.
yeah.
So
That's
that's interesting.
Yeah,
And
that's really neat to hear, and I mean, good for this person. I mean, obviously they didn't have to create something that did did anything. So clearly they have they care about the community, and that while the fact that they're donating as well, that's really neat.
yeah, and so that's only one of the two bots I wanted to talk about. This has kind of been an interesting week
Yeah,
or two here.
yeah. So now there's a new contract bot out there through the Nocturne Alley that we accidentally talked about the last time.
Yep, that's the one. Yeah, so this one, if you to our users who have paid and use our alert system, it's a lot like a very, very minimalist alert system. I think you get class, subclass, profession, and maybe one other thing, and price, of course. And effectively, it works a lot like those locked jewel contracts we've talked about, where you put your criteria in, and then you say, I'm willing to spend up to 100 jewel on a hero that meets these criteria, and then you will basically launch that contract, and then you'll fulfill it with you'll basically deposit your 100 jewel into it, and then that's effectively watching all auction transactions for you on chain. And if a hero meets your criteria, it will purchase it for you, give you the hero, and give you the remainder of your jewel. Like if it was sold, say it was a 75 jewel hero, and so you'll get your 25 jewel back.
Wow.
So it's really interesting.
Hmm. Boy, yeah, that's I have not done any transactions through their site. And I believe you may have. I don't know if you have either, but I think kind of regardless of whether or not we have, I think it's definitely a use at your own risk style third party tool. So,
Oh,
um,
absolutely.
yeah,
I haven't used that one, and they look like they have a statistics generator where it keeps track of how much value they've traded in heroes, and at the moment it's sitting at zero. So just again, it's a brand new feature.
yeah,
I have used DFK.market to see how buying and selling locked jewel worked with, like, I don't know, three locked jewel, just to try it out and see if it actually worked. But
you're
that's the extent
destroying the jewel economy, Nine.
that's the extent of my black market trading, is like three jewel.
Yeah. So, Crypto Nerd asked, can something similar to Nocturnality be built by ADFK?
It could, yeah, absolutely. I think I am definitely lacking in the Solidity smart contract development area. So that's kind of why some of these other communities you'll see, that have a little bit more expertise in that area have creeped up. And I've got more of a embedded software engineering background, and web is definitely not my forte. And I'm kind of dabbling in it here and enjoying it a lot, but what I haven't gotten into yet, and I would always love to, would be that smart contract development. But unfortunately, I'm still a rookie in that nature, so I don't know that I would trust my own uh, heroes or Jewel with my code quite yet.
not, not quite yet, huh? All right, so today's a Monday. We had the AMA. I think we both read up on Sandwich's notes after the fact. So the roadmap, the dev team, I think as I mentioned earlier on, they mentioned that they admitted that things are going a bit slow at the moment. I guess in terms of crypto in the crypto world, things usually move at a lightning pace, and they're continuing to build out all these new features. Pets sound like they're not here yet. What's your insight on when those will come out next?
Yeah, yeah, sure. So first, I think I kind of resonate in my world too. They're like you said, they're building out, and that requires building up their staff. And there's usually that inevitable slowdown when you're staffing up and training up and putting in those processes into place. So I totally understand that. but yeah, they made it seem as though it might be something like 2.5 to 3.5 weeks probably for pets, which I think is reasonable. I mean, at this point, I think we've only seen two or three pictures of possible, pets, like real pets. So it could, maybe we got our hopes up a little too early, and the Easter egg hunt definitely helped that, I would say.
Yeah, I think you're right, and what did they tease for coming out next week? Is it sounded like Fox said they're trying to get the Crystalville Gen Zeros, and I don't know, is that like the airdrop or is that like the actual heroes dropping?
So I suspect it'll be, if it's anything like the original Sarandale one was, it would be, was obviously it's a little different because those you had to kind of go buy. But these, I suspect it'll just be an airdrop and or a claim button. You might have to hit a claim button, and I suspect you would get a crystal, the
Uh,
summoning crystal, and then you would at your leisure go over to the new zone that would be a portal or something like a portal in Crystal Vale and then open it up and see your brand new Gen Zero.
that's exciting. That's exciting. And what do you think about the rerolls on the stats for all the existing Gen Zeros? Has that tempted you to buy any?
I kind of forgot about that. You're right. And maybe you want to explain it real quick, and then I'll get into
Oh,
my
yeah, for sure.
detail.
So, gosh, it feels like ages ago. It's probably only 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Two AMAs ago, I think. They released that they are to balance, and so this was a predicament brought up by metas in the community, and I think it circulated the DFK Discord, and something that I think the dev team was already thinking about, which is if the new Crystal Veil Gen Zeros are going to represent um, part of the gene class of all the future heroes, either one of two things is going to happen. Either they are going to be very concentrated berserkers and seers, or that many of their recessive genes are going to contain the other heroes that are not released yet. I was actually kind of hoping for the latter there. And they decided to go with option 3, which is they're going to redistribute the gene pool amongst all of the existing Gen Zeros that are currently out there now. And so that means that the new Crystalville Gen Zeros, they are all going to have a primary or a secondary class trait of all the primary and secondary classes are going to have at least the trait of Berserker Seer. And then those recessive genes could be any of the hero genes that currently exist in Sarandale. And then what they're going to allow is all Gen Zero Sarandale holders to re-roll their recessive traits. And so when you click the re-roll button, you will be incentivized with some kind of reward from DFK. And I would say, most of their incentivizing rewards usually pay off. At least that's what I'm really feeling that way after the Perilous Journey. Um, and you'll re-roll and you have the chance of getting a recessive gene of a berserker or a seer in a Gen Zero. To me, that doesn't really move the needle very much. As I've thought about rebuying a Gen Zero. But how about you?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think the only way I would consider it is if you have a Gen Zero that's kind of a mismatch, right? It it kind of just doesn't have anything that really lines up. And I think there's actually a lot of those out there
Yeah,
because of the random nature of it, right? You had zero choice in what you got.
right.
So I actually think you'll see a lot of that because it is optional too, right? You don't have to
It is
re-roll.
optional. Yeah, if
Yeah,
you have like a pure class Gen Zero, I would not be clicking that reroll button.
exactly. And so I think you're actually going to see quite a few people do a re-roll just at another shot at maybe getting a more matched hero. And I think that's probably incentive enough for a lot of people. I guess I didn't realize they were going to provide additional incentive because, in my opinion, getting a chance to re-roll the genes of a hero that are normally permanent seems like all of the benefit you'd need to provide.
Yeah, my understanding is that they would also add in another incentive, like I don't know, like you're gonna get attunement crystals, or I'm making something up,
Some sort of item.
some sort of item drop like that. So it to me, you know interpreted that as something smallish, but still probably worthwhile. I guess my whole
Yep.
point is, if I was sitting on a Gen Zero right now, sure as shooting would I be pressing that button to re-roll them, but I don't think that alone is making the. I've been a huge, I guess I would say, critic is a fair way to say it. Or skeptic on what are the possible areas of value that a Gen Zero is going to provide in the future, because now that summoning, the cost of a Gen 1 10 out of 10 summons has really sunk. What is the value of a Gen 0 hero now? And I think that the DFK team will continue to provide boosts that are similar to the Perilous Journey, where having a Gen 0 in a region, or having a Gen 0 in a battle, or in a tournament, will boost the stats of your other heroes. But that there's no information on what that would be yet. So I guess let me go take a peek at the market. I'm at the marketplace now. Yeah, right now we're sitting at 59.9 Jewel for a 10 out of 10 Gen 1. So, at 59.9, you are technically losing money. If you had two Gen
Wow, yeah.
Zeros summoning together, you would be losing zero point 0.1 Jewel. So that's you know I don't I you know it's I don't know enough about economics to say that's unhealthy. I would say that has to do a lot with supply and demand, and there just aren't enough users demanding heroes to make up for all the supply. And
Yep.
maybe that changes with more burn mechanics in the future, but I don't I just don't think that's going to be the case. Like I strongly believe that summoning is going to change, and maybe summoning gets more valuable in the future when you have high level Gen Zeros. Once you can have all those stat boosts, so a level 30 Gen Zero summoning has a lot more stat boost than obviously a level 5 Gen 0 summoning. So I mean, maybe that kind of changes the equation a little bit, but then you got to imagine all the other Gen Zeros will also be summoning at that point in time too. So I think that's a bit of a ship that sailed in terms of a way to earn value off a Gen Zero in the future.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think it seems like your approach is kind of it's like the show me the money approach, right? And right now there is no show of how to make money necessarily with the Gen Zero.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, that'll change, I think. It's just where they're at, right? We've talked about that. The game is still is so new that the aspects of the game haven't even really come out. And they said they've mentioned they have a ton of ideas on how Gen Zeros will provide value. It's just
Hmm.
without actual gameplay, that can't happen quite yet. So, yep, I'm with you.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else on the roadmap or the AMA that you really wanted to dive in to? I think there was hero tagging you had on your
Yes.
notes.
Yes, it is. Yeah, and that kind of goes exactly along the lines with what we just talked about prior to this with the hero bots. And maybe it's a day late and a dollar short now, where you could tag a hero. I think they said, you could tag them for possibly like, these are my, fishing heroes, and I want them to be grouped in some way. Or you could say, these are the heroes I don't want to sell, or I do want to sell, or, one of those combinations to kind of help people focus their attention on the heroes that they're trying to use for the purpose of the page they're on.
Hmm.
If you're in the tavern to sell a hero, you don't want the ones that are labeled as your long-term hold heroes per se. So I think that's a really cool idea. We've asked for features like that to kind of help people from making those mistakes. And I mean, even that 100% markup we talked about, you could still save someone 30, 40, 50, 100 jewel just by putting these tags onto heroes. So I think it's still a value add change. It's just, it's not as exciting to me as it would have been before some of these other changes that happened in the larger DFK space.
Yeah, I hear you there. I think yeah, that key being especially now that some of the buying has subsided. Some of the value of the tags have gone down. I think they also referenced that there'd be a tag for PJ survivors in the future, which
Oh,
I
yep,
think
yep.
that is important for me as well. um I nonetheless, I think it could be a nice quality of life improvement that we all expect in the future or demand in the future.
Yep, that's exactly right.
All right, so combat corner. You wanted to go through some BI reports, and
Yeah, I was thinking maybe just if we walk through the charts and see if anything is surprising us with the latest data. It's been a while since we kind of perused all that.
yeah, let me go ahead and jump over there and check the OBS stream to make sure that's showing up.
And we'll try
Okay,
to maybe talk through everything too for our pure listeners, I would say.
yeah, definitely. And let me go ahead and I'll also share my screen for you so you can see what we're looking at.
Appreciated.
All right, so like the first chart that we have is the hero totals, and I did just update this tonight to make sure that we have all the right data. And I decided let's just go ahead and look at the hero totals by level. And so this is the second page on Power BI. Um, so we have 3,200 and my mouse pointer decided to die on me. So this is going to be a little boring. Let's see if I can use my
Oh
touch
wow,
screen.
yeah.
All right, so we have, oh, here it is, level 8. So we have 3,174 heroes at level 8. Now I just have one of those.
Oh nice.
And if we look at then the total of heroes above that, over here we can see at level, 9, there's 47.
Wow.
Do you have any there at 9?
So my rare summoner I've been, potting on the side here and there. I think he's about 2K experience shy of that. So
Woo!
I'm
It's getting up
thinking
there.
in the next 6 days or so, I can probably, well, actually, he's gardening too. So if I switch him out, he's got a pretty good intelligence score. I might switch him out to the alchemist, just the alchemist apprentice, just get him that XP and push him through a little faster.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
I'm hoping to get there in the next couple of days.
Nice, nice. Yeah, and
And then I
then
think I got one or two at 8, maybe besides him.
so we got 2 heroes at level 15. Like that,
Holy cow.
you got to be
That's a lot of potions, man.
a lot. That's
I
a
don't even
lot of
know.
expensive stamina potions, and
Uh,
also like, I mean, that's a lot of dedication to clicking as well.
oh, no doubt. That's got to be like 500 or more stamina potions, or more. I don't even know. More than that, probably. Maybe
uh,
our listeners can
yeah,
do the math for us because that is a ton.
yeah, that's wild. So that's the first thing I wanted to do is just jump in, look at some level counts, um, and then of
Oh, that's good data. I
course,
love that.
as our favorite, do some stats by level. So I just leveled up so I have not checked into this yet. I'm gonna go back over here. I had kind of a lousy roll, to be honest, with my thief. I let him go ahead and stay a part of the clan. Um, so I want to look at my heroes. And Birdie Swiftsteel. With a name like that, he's supposed to be fast. And I was sitting at 29, and I went to level up, boosted with the crystal, and at 75 percentage of the primary, I got only the bonus.
Ooh.
So that was a bit of a kick in the pants. And so we're sitting at 30 agility. So let's go ahead and pop over here and look at agility.
Yeah, I while you're pulling that up, I had a level 5 level up from a legendary Darknet I had bought a while back.
Yeah.
Kind of the same exact thing. His vitality, I boosted with a crystal, and I think he got like one. It was the same thing. It was just the bonus. And I was like, oh, at this point, my level 5 Darknet has almost no health, and I'm like, this is not going well.
Yeah. That's
What?
tough.
Oh yeah.
So,
Wow, there's not very many.
he's still doing all right. I would have been, gosh, and now looking at 31, it's making me feel a little sad that I'm not sitting at that level. But something here we can need is we can dive into 18. They are all level. Most of them are level 8. There are a few level 6s in here.
Wow.
Actually, quite a few level 6s in here. Um,
So there, are those guys boost? Now those hero numbers are pretty high too, so they must be boosted. Like if
yeah,
you're at 114 some thousand hero mark, they haven't been around all that long.
yeah.
Interesting.
And what was the hero mark for PJ? Do you remember?
If
120
I were to
something.
guess, I want to say it was 100 and yeah, maybe it was around 120.
What, maybe
That could be about right.
129. Less than 130, I think. So this guy here, 134, almost certainly couldn't be a PJ survivor. So
Maybe he got boosted with a stone, one of the when he was summoned,
yeah. Oh, that kind of boost. I see what you're saying now. Interesting.
because that gives you like a +4 to a stat just from the get-go.
That it does. That it does.
Which, you know, speaking of those, I may or may not have sold a Might Stone because I looked at the chart and they were worth 12 jewel, and I don't plan to do summoning anytime in the near future. I was like, I'll take 12 jewel.
you know, and like we've said before, you were messaging me the night before or the day of Crystal, the quest, the side quest coming out. And you're like, I'm unloading all my crystals right now because they're going to be earned in quests, which means the value is dropping down. I think the same could be said for probably stones in the future, that they're, probably close to their all time high, and will probably come down in value in the future. So, again,
Especially
not
if you
financial
don't summon
advice,
a
but
lot.
something to think about.
Could you pull up the summons over time chart real quick?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Because I think maybe that's a good next place to go here to see what isn't it just your heroes by date, and then what are we looking at here?
Well,
Okay. So it is still.
just
Oh,
under
you must
150.
not have the latest data here
Yeah, not.
on this one at
Oh,
least.
why? Yeah, why isn't this one? Huh? I'm not
Because I
sure.
think I was looking at it not too long ago, and I think maybe we just eclipsed the mark, the total hero count that are still alive, if you will, um, from pre-PJ. So I think it was uh, basically
That would have been 155. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's funny. I don't know why it updated on. I updated on my sales price chart.
that's interesting. So it took us, wow, it only took us a month and 10 days to
Yeah,
regenerate all of the heroes lost.
that is wild.
Oof, that's fascinating. I hadn't actually took time to look that through. So that speaks to what you were mentioning earlier about there needing to be a hero burn mechanic almost permanently, or these numbers are, like you said, unsustainable.
Yeah, they really might be. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, here. Aha! The
There it
power of
is.
the refresh button. All right, so yeah, that's, oh boy, we got some real recent data. We got April 26th up here.
Yeah, the site's always scraping it, man. It's just
That's it must
popping it into
it
the database.
somehow it must be the way that it pulls the time slots. That's funny. Because obviously today's the 25th still. So
Oh
um
yeah. Oh, it's UTC time. That's
yeah,
what it is.
that's what it is. And now
Yep.
it's actually funny because the other Gen Zero in my house, my wonderful better half, her birthday's on the 26th, and so it gave me a bit of a heart attack here for a moment.
You're
I'm
like,
like, oh
wait,
goodness,
what?
did I? That's why she was mad at me today.
Oh, that's funny.
Um, so oh, and so we got some folks asking for the link on the Power BI report. So yeah, let me go
Yeah,
ahead
it's in
and
our Discord also.
yeah, I'll post this here. Published to
Is
web.
that the same link that you put into? Oh, there
Yeah,
you go.
yeah, it is. It is the link in Discord right now, and I'll just go ahead and throw it into the stream. So it's a ugly, nasty little link. So just click on that hyperlink. I'm not gonna
I
read that out
challenged one
loud.
of our users to type it in manually.
Yeah, go for it.
If you get it right, maybe we'll give you a rune or something.
A nice giveaway there.
Uh,
All right, so I guess YouTubers out there, anything that you'd like to see over on while we're looking at the Power BI there, anything you want us to take a peek at, or just like the website, we should probably also, and maybe we could even combine them together, a bit of a any update requests or new development requests for Power BI.
yeah, it's a good idea.
All right. So next, I'm going to jump over to average sale price. That's something that I was kind of wanting to peek at a bit. I was actually recently looking at. I did purchase a legendary. Um, Geez, my words are hard tonight. I purchased a legendary ninja, and I set up an alert system. So the first thing that I did to try to figure out, really what I wanted to get for hero is I started looking at stats by hero count, and I was looking at the agility stats, and I was looking at maximum possible growth out there, and I decided that for a level 5, I needed to find a minimum of, for a legendary, a minimum of 25 in agility is what I chose. And then I went over to our website, and I set my alerts based on that. And I set, so then I scaled it down, and I was like, all right, if a ninja gets 2 agility points for every level up, then on level 4 I'd expect 23, and on level 3 I'd expect 21, so on and so forth. And I
Nice.
scaled that down. So I set an alert, and I watched it, and I actually so I recently bought here. Let me jump over to this guy right here.
Oh,
Um,
Ninja Archer. Nice.
yeah, so I'm pretty excited about this guy. He's a gardener. He had been out. He's a level. I bought him at level 5, um, and so he has the 25 agility that I was looking for. He has the blue luck as well. Which I'm,
Nice.
I'm not sad about by any stretch. So blue or the green intelligence could not care less about. He's not going to be a smart ninja by any stretch. Um, so I'm pretty happy with this guy. He's a recent poll that I made, and that was kind of my thought process for this. I know you have a hero, kind of the hero of the day picked out on the tavern. Why don't you I first walk us through what was your initial thought process on the hero that you were looking for and wanted to share with our viewers?
Yeah, yep, absolutely. So I'm not really in the buying market at the moment, so I just was gonna do my standard thing. I was just gonna walk 25 in the as the minimum value of all the stats. Just walk that down all of them, just page through and see what could find. I got to
Wait,
wisdom.
give me a second here, and I'm gonna start punching 25 in.
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
All right,
Yep.
so
Well, so you got to
why
do them one
20?
at a time.
Yeah,
Otherwise, it'll be
why 25?
you got to do them one at a time, or it's
Oh,
trying to hand them all.
I see what you're
So it
saying.
takes a bit.
Yeah,
25, just I didn't want a fresh hero because I've got I feel like I have enough lower level heroes, and with these training quests, it's pretty obvious to me that lower under the 25 skill points is starting to become, you know, unusable, basically. You get a lot of red
Yeah.
X's, is what I'll say. So I was just like, I'm just going to start there. Um, and I was clicking around for a while, and on wisdom, you must have some other filter on yet. But something kind of jumped out at me. I don't know if this is necessarily purchasing advice, but it kind of led me down a rabbit hole. So that's where we're going to go. We're going to go down a rabbit hole. Maybe this
Uh,
is right if you just scroll a bit. But effectively, yeah, right there, right in the middle. I was like, whoa, subclass of Sage. I was like, wow, like that's pretty hard to do because you have to actually kind of track genes. That's hard to make an accident,
mm-hmm.
basically. And so I was like, how common is that? It's like 150, 149 joules seems like a lot, but it's a PJ survivor, and the stats are good. And if you flip that card around real quick, it also has boosted wisdom, which is
Nice.
also pretty sweet. And so then if you hit
26
the up
was even
arrow,
better. Yeah.
right, hit that up arrow for me real quick on the bottom. So that gives you a 26, yeah, 82 and 26.5% chance. So if you put a crystal on this, you can get that wisdom absolutely.
For plus, yeah, plus 40%. Yeah, 41% chance to level up. So that's near darn near a corn flip.
So yeah, so then I was like, well, how many of these guys are out there? So I went to I can save you some of the clicking if you want. There's currently 99 subclass sages in existence. So I was like, wow, that's actually fairly rare.
Hmm.
And there's 133 dragoons. So a little bit more of those. That makes sense because those, the mining stuff kind of has taken off a lot. Uh, so what do you bet? How many subclass dread knights are there? What's your bet?
All right, so I don't know.
I'll put you on the
So
spot. I love it.
Dread Knights 10.
Ooh, pretty close. 20 sub knight or dread knight subclasses, and there's
Wow.
actually like two of them are on sale right now too. So, I
Oh,
don't
not
know.
Dark Knight,
Yeah,
Dread Knight.
yeah.
Two for
So yeah, our
sale.
viewers, yeah, look at that.
And,
Isn't that crazy?
not worth that much either.
No, and I was looking at the stats and see these bonuses aren't nearly as juicy. I'll say
They're really
those
not.
super high percentage of a sage for wisdom and intelligence really show through on the
It
secondary
sure
class.
does, yeah.
So, not financial advice, but this is really interesting to me to see if you have, especially when crystals are out, not the lesser crystals, if you have a subclass sage, that, in my opinion, with a crystal as a boost and a level up, you can get two or three if you use your guaranteed boost almost every time, um, and have pretty solid level up. So, that's something that I might actually think about moving forward. But yeah, there's very few of them, so you don't have a lot of purchasing opportunities. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, kind of curious to go look at the hero catalog here and see how many sages are out there. Secondary sage.
Yeah, I think that was where I
Plenty.
was at 90.
Yeah, quite a few out there, but
Yep, yep. But yeah, less than 100, and that's across 100 and you know how many thousand heroes now. So clearly, it's not been something that people have, at least not very many people have tried to create. So it's I don't know. It's just yeah, again a rabbit hole, but I thought it was a really interesting one, and the fact that it kind of led me to that little bit of info about boosting a Sage subclass could be very useful. So
all right. So, we got a YouTuber asking, we need price evolution based on a filter, just like the alerts, for Power BI. So let me jump back over to that. Oh,
oh,
um, and show some of what you can do. So I'm not quite sure I understand the question. Price
I'm wondering if
evolution
it's
based on
related to
filter.
abilities.
Oh yeah, that is something we've thought about. So there are some selection tools here on Power BI that you can use, and so you can click some of the if you want to look at only the legendary class, you could look at only PJ survivors. or they did not PJ. Obviously, you're not going to look at the ones that did not survive. They will not be on the marketplace. At least I
Hmm.
don't believe so.
Yeah, that'd be
And
fun.
you can select by the class, or excuse me, the profession too. So if you wanted to look at mining, fishing, gardening, foraging, so on and so forth. And then I have summons left and generation right now. So that is the list of selection criteria, and we can certainly add to that in the future. And so if you would like that stratified by other user data and you would find that to be beneficial, yeah, please let me know what that is. That's actually fairly easy to add in. I also have, the last one is pure, and so you can select. I call it semi-pure, I suppose. So
Yep, yep.
DR1 is the same, or DR1 is different. And so if you really want to see out there, so let's go select all, and let's look at mining. And so you can see right now, class DR1 being the same. Those are going for quite a bit. And then if you wanted to look at, summons left, that could get you, your floor price there
Oh, cool. Yeah.
on that. So
Just talking about seeing a dead hero show up on Tavern made me think of an interesting quest line for PJ Survivors. It'd be really interesting if they pulled some of the heroes from your wall that had died and they showed up as like a ghost that was a nemesis or something. I don't know. Like, oh no, he's back again. That guy who died.
yeah, yeah. All right, I see. Krillet, you're asking for the purity in both the class and the profession. I That purity is just the class right now. It is, or excuse me, it yes, it is the class, and so archer, thief, knight. I do not have a purity filter on DR1 being the same for the profession yet, but that's something that we could put in for sure.
Yeah, because that's all that lives in the data. We would just have to provide the front end for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Great,
that's another
great
good one.
suggestion. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Blackwing's asking, why are summoners the cheapest? Interesting. Yeah, when you kind of zoom out on this total, well, I think that's tough to say because you're looking at a lot of different heroes. So maybe let's look at you know rare and above. Rare, legendary, mythic. Summoners are still the cheapest. So that didn't change very much. So yeah, that's
I mean, my hypothesis is that they're centered around things like gardening that just haven't provided as much value to the
um,
average player. Whereas the mining professions on here probably tend to rank higher. Just a pure guess.
yeah, really interesting.
That's quite a
I
bit lower, isn't it?
also, I mean, I wonder how many. Maybe they just not might not be selling because if you look, Dark Knight, Ninja, Summoner are all ranking towards the bottom. I bet they're also not being produced. Is probably a weird side statistical anomaly right now. Whereas the other hero classes are being produced
Sure.
in mass, but that should show up with my
I,
summons left
yeah,
filter
I
getting
think it's
shrunken down.
honestly, I think it's just that people are going for paladin miners and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, because there's so little summoning being done compared to how there had been.
yeah,
At least
interesting.
that's my gut feel.
Yeah, I here this is interesting. So, obviously, if you get beyond, so if you go beyond Gen 1 and then you reflip this, it's the price of Gen 1 heroes that's carrying the basic market, because
Hmm.
when you flip this over to Gen Zero, um, yeah, or excuse me, yeah, Gen Zero or and Gen One. Um,
That
oh,
actually does
that's what
make
it is.
sense.
It's the Gen Zero market that's carrying it.
Yep.
Yeah, duh. Okay, so yeah, sorry there. It was a great question by Blackwing. Um, great question. It took
The
us
devil's in the details.
it took us a dumb moment or two to figure that out. So yeah, that felt like a Dumb and Dumber moment there for a second. Um, yeah, but that would make sense that the Gen Zero market is heavily weighting that at the moment. But yeah, that's all things you can look into. And again, hopefully this reinforces your belief that this is not a financial advice podcast. All right. Well, Nindorf, this has been a lot of fun. I'm glad we're kind of back at it. Listeners, watchers out there, thanks for hanging with us here for our small hiatus. We'll try to bang out another episode this week. Any closing comments that you have?
I think really all I have is, like I said, look forward to um, some of these subscription totals. Let's see if we can't get those crystals out there to you guys, and then also, yeah, keep an eye out for a post. We'll probably, add everyone in our Discord channel with these list of possible improvements that you guys would like to see, so that the community can vote on them. So yeah, so get your votes in once you see that, and keep an eye out for it.
All right. Sounds good. Well, this is the Adventures in DeFi Kingdoms crew signing off. Have a great night.